So now let's discuss about something called scope activity and exception handling and while loop. All the three let's cover. Okay. So to start with, so we have a okay. Let me use data stitch activity. Okay. This not data stitch activity. I'll try to use this service in my parent service. Okay. Now create a new schedule based integration. You can say it as error handling. Okay. So this is as you develop our code, equivalently your error handling also very important. So error handling can be done in two ways. Okay. One, let me come down. Error handling. Error handling is nothing but if some exceptions comes in. Okay, if some exceptions comes in, if some exception comes in, you have to handle. Exception is nothing but some error. So errors are of two types. Okay, the first type of error is system error or technical error. Second type of exception is here business error or business exception. So what are those? So system exceptions is nothing but you're calling a database, you're calling a file system or FTP system, you're calling a web service, you're calling a SAP system, you're calling a Oracle app system. There are multiple systems in this. If the systems are up and running, that is fine, that is happy part. If the system is down, then you'll get a system exception. That is one. Second, at the time of calling your service, if you're not, or let's think in a different way. You are defining a assigned variable and you did not coded the assigned variable properly, or when you're using any XSLT functions, you did not use it properly, then you'll get a technical error. System, if the system is down, system is not accessible, then you'll get a system exception. Technical, both are kind of technical error. Okay, the second would be if you are writing some logic, if the logic is wrong, then you'll get a exception. Okay. Second would be business error. Business error or business exception is based on the data. You are trying to send the data. Let's consider you want to query a database. Okay, we have employee ID as 101 in database. Instead of 101, you put as 01. The employee may not, that employee is not available inside the database. You'll get no data available. You'll get an error. No data found. When you're trying to send some information to that system accepts some more parameters, you're not passing it. These are precisely related to the data that you're sending. It will return a business exception. It's not technical, it's a business exceptions. So having said, there are two types of exceptions that we have. System exception or technical exception or error, or second would be business exception or business error. Am I clear? Any questions? Guys, can anyone respond? Am I audible?
No questions.
Yes, sir. Once I explain business errors.
Okay, business exception is like it is related to the data. Let's consider you want to query a database. Okay, in database you have employees 1 to 100. 100 employees you have in database, but you're trying to put it employee ID as 1000. That employee is not available. You're passing a wrong data. Then you'll get a business exception. That is one. Second, if you want to call a REST API web service, that system expects some input parameter, which is mandatory. You're not passing it. Then you'll get a 400, data not found, or wrong input parameters or bad request. So these are the related to the data related, not technical related. Technical are system related. If system is down, then you'll get an exception. Clear? Vijaya?
Clear, sir.
Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay. Prithvi, you have? Okay, okay. Fine. So now let's get into the OIC. Okay, so schedule based orchestration. I'll use a assign activity. Global assign. You put, I just wanted the throwing an error. I want to show you. Current date time, I'm just using a function. I know this will fail. We have to put it as, I'll go with a happy path. Okay. I'm just putting as a string. Okay. First we'll go with a happy path. Now then we'll go with the error. Okay. First we're going with the technical exceptions. Okay. Okay. We have this successful. Okay. Now I'll go with the error case. Instead of convert typecasting or changing from date to string, I'll make it as only date type. Then it should fail. Okay. But this function is valid. But the way we are using is different. It will fail because of that. Okay. Now this is done. Now let me test this. It will fail. It has to fail. Because see, it got error. Okay. So this is one technical error. Second technical error is, I'll call this data stitch activity or service. How I can call it? By using a integration activity. So when you call any integration activity, where is that integration? Or this activity we also called as data stitch. Done. Okay. Now it requires some input parameters so that it will call successfully. Right now database is not there. Business exception we'll see later, but let's see how we can do it. ID. See, my bad. It should be 1 because it's a number. Seven. Hyderabad. One moment. हाँ करना. हाँ कर. Okay, so this is how I'm just passing this data and calling a child service. So when you use an integration activity, it will say as integration adapter. So this is also called as local integration. So we can call a service of OIC by using an integration adapter, or we can also call it as integration adapter or local integration. There are terminologies you have to understand. That's it. So I'm going with a happy case now. Okay, but this will fail. So let me make it as a string. Typecast this. So first we have seen a technical error. We'll see a system exception now. Okay, there is a happy part. So it has to call a child service and it has to be successful, and it has to call a child service. Okay, you can see everything is successful. So when you go back and you see data stitch might have invoked successfully. See, just now it had created. Okay, everything is good. Now let's go with the error case. Error case is this service is not reachable or down. Okay, I bring the service down. Now let me test it. It will fail. See, it got failed. So let's see the error details. So if you get these kind of errors, how you handle it? That is here exception happen. You can see message sent. This is a fault message. 503. In the sense, service not available. That's where it says, yeah, service not available. Okay. Okay. So you can see two exceptions, technical exceptions as well as we have seen here system exceptions. Both we have seen. Okay. So now when you have these kind of exceptions, how you handle it? So when we call any service, okay, we have to remember one thing. All the technical errors are non-retriable. We cannot retry it. Technical errors in the sense when you're coding something, assign activity, those are technical errors which cannot be retried. So some exception happens. It has to go to your global fault. This is a global fault. So it will not come back to your normal fault or normal process. Okay, if some exception comes here, it will throw. We have to handle those exceptions for your technical. In case of system exceptions, you are calling some service. It can be a OIC, it can be a database, it can be something else. Okay, for that we have to use scope. Put a scope here. Okay, sorry, my bad. You can say like you have to use scope. Then what you're doing, data stitch. Each invocation we can use each scope so that it will be handled accordingly. Okay. Now we have to bring these activities inside. To bring it, reposition it, put inside this. Okay. So this is how we will handling it. So we can handle the exception two ways. One, scope level. We can handle the exceptions. We can have a default handling. We can put whatever the logic that we want to put it here. The same way we can handle it in global error handling. Okay, some exception happens. Okay, so let's test it. Let me delete that. Delete this. Okay, I'm not handling anything. So what happens? Let's see. I'm not handling any exceptions right now. Simply I've used a scope. So we will handle the exceptions, but I'm just showing like what happens if I'm not handling it. Okay, it got exception. Okay, I did not handle anything. That's it. It went up. That's it. It called a global error handling. We don't have anything. So what happens is, if we have a scope, so it will check whether we handle any exceptions here. It will does like capturing the exception, sending email notification. We can do that, or we can put the error details in file. We can put the error details in database for each integration. The same thing, if it is available, it will check first. It will check whether we have a scope level exception handling. Are we catching? Are we handling any exceptions? If we don't have it, if we did not implement it, immediately it will go inside your global part. So this is how it will be checking. Your system will check this way. First, it will check scope level exception handling. If it is available, it's okay. If it is not available, it will then go for global handling. In our case, we did not handle both. Okay, now let's handle it. Okay, now let me handle this. I'll catch errors. I'll have some variables error handling. Right now, I'm not using anything. Errors. So in errors, we can handle three things. One, error code. This is a standard. Error code, system will automatically gives us. Next, error message or error reason. And third would be error detail. This is what we can have it. So where can I get it? On a scope level, when you handle it, it will give you. This is a scope. When it fails, it will give you this error code. Error reason. Error details. Okay. We handle this. Now reset this. It will reset it. Okay. It successful, but it failed. See, error happened. It went to the scope level fault handling, and the process has completed. You can see. See, error handled. Okay. Fault handler it checked with. We have the fault. The messages that we have handled it. Error details. API error. Next reason. ICS integration invocation. Error details. With the complete information, it will give you. You can see service not available. Okay, that's where. In earlier case, it went to global. Both at first it will check scope level, then it will check global. Here we have handed here. That's where it went. So from here, we have to understand, do we need to retry? Do we need to rethrow the error? So you have to understand it's completely dependent. So do we want to retry this? Automatic retry is not possible. So we have to explicitly do that. We have to run a loop and we have to do that. Okay, for that we'll using a while loop. So that we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so, but we'll see one more topic. If you want to throw the error from your scope level to global level, we can do that. After handling it, what do you want to do it? You want to end the process? You want to throw the error back to the global error handling where you want to send an email notification? You can do that. Very well, we can do that. It depends.
Without calling integration, we cannot do it.
Sorry?
Without calling any integration.
I did not get your point.
I mean, you just called a integration in this new integration. I mean, I'm saying without calling any integration, we cannot do it.
Calling an integration, we can do it, but I wantedly failed it because I've disabled the integration to show you the error case. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, I'm wantedly failing the integration. It's not like we cannot call. We are calling 100%. We are calling it. You can see data stage has been disabled. I deactivated it. Because of that, it's getting failed. It's not like we cannot do it. We can do it, but I'm showing you the error case. That's it. Now, in scope level, I've handled the error and I'm rethrowing the error. So when you rethrow the error, it will propagate the error to a global fault, global error handling. Now you can see it shows a error. It got failed. Now let's see the audit rate or activity stream. Error, fault handler, it went to the scope level, error details. We rethrow the error, it went to the global fault. In earlier case, it did not went to the global fault. So in global fault, we can send an email notification saying like it has got fault. So the way there is no hard and fast rule that you have to do this only. It depends on the design. It depends on how your architects design the application. I'm just giving the all possible ways for you. I'm trying to give you all possible ways that you can do it by using exception handling. So what we can do is go to the global fault. It came here. Now I'll use a email notification activity to send an email. Error email. To give a email ID. No reply at oracle.com. Okay, we can give the hyphen also. And then let me go to, okay. Let me have my email ID. Will that give? Yes, it's giving. So let me give my only email ID. I'm giving only my email ID. And then subject. Error happened. Error occurred. Okay. Now, here user. Error occurred. Error occurred. Error occurred integration name, instance ID. Then we have error code, error reason, error detail. That's admin. Then I'll have all this information. Integration name. Instance ID. Then we have error code. Everything system is giving. We are not hard coding anything as such. Error reason. And then last would be error detail. So it gives the complete detailed information of the error. After this, we have to use this variables. How we can use it in email braces. Error code. Error reason. Error and detail. That's it. Okay. Now validate, close this, save this, go back to the main integration, go back this, save this. Now close this and test it. Okay, now let me test this. In the first case, we did not have any handling of errors. Second case, we have a handling of error in scope level. Third case, now in this case, we have a handling of exception in both scope as well as global level. Okay, it got error. Now check it. See, error occurred. Then fault handled scope level, message has been done. Then global level, notification sent. You can see complete details. It has sent an email. Now let me open my email. I should get an email. See, error occurred. You can see integration name, instance ID, error code, reason, error details. It has given complete direct. Clear, guys? Any questions? Guys, can anyone respond?
No, sir.
Okay, the same example you try for five months. You can try with SOAP, you can try with REST, you can try with schedule based. Okay, first without scope. Second, with scope. Then with global error handling. Send email. And all this is try with employee, student, customer, patient, order, and book. 6 objects into 3 into 3. Okay, just try all these examples and see how it works out. Clear, guys? Any questions?
No, sir, we'll try.
Okay, thank you. We'll connect back tomorrow.